Unlike our parents and our grandparents, we have modern day navigation to help us when we head out into the woods other than a paper map and a compass. What are the top 5 apps for helping us navigate on a backpacking trip? Stay tuned and find out. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Jeremy with Midwest Backpacker. My friends out on the trail like to call me Almost. Hey, if you like backpacking and outdoor videos, I invite you to hit that subscribe button right down there. Cell phones are awesome, right? There are so many different things cell phones can do. However, you should not rely on your cell phone as your only way of navigating when you head out into the woods on a backpacking trip. There are all sorts of things that can happen to your cell phone, whether that be the battery dying from it being cold outside, to it getting wet, to you dropping and breaking it. You might lose it. You need to bring along with you a paper map, and if you know how to use it, bring along a compass. So if that cell phone stops working, you'll know where to go. Let's hope that doesn't happen. So in almost all cell phones, there is a built-in GPS. And that GPS will allow you to not only look at maps on your phone, but it'll show you where you are at on that map. And you do not need to have cell phone coverage or be within signal or have any data. That GPS works even if you have your phone on airplane mode. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about the top 5 navigation apps that you can put on your phone to help you while you're hiking. The Garmin Inreach Mini is a fabulous tool. On the side here, you'll see that there's an SOS button. That SOS button allows you to communicate with search and rescue and let them know that there's an emergency on the trail and they can locate you and come save you if needed. This Inreach also allows you to communicate with anybody that you want via text when there is not cell phone service. So Garmin has an app that is on your phone that allows you to control your Garmin Inreach Mini or any Garmin. And it's called EarthMate. EarthMate, again, on your phone you can see a map, you can see your text, and it's a lot easier to type text on there instead of on here. And it also allows you to track your hike. What's nice about this is what I often do is you can set it to ping your location every 10 minutes. And anybody you share the link with can see your progress on the trail. So I give that link to my wife. She sees that I'm moving. Everything's probably okay, and she can relax. It also works if you're working with somebody to come pick you up at the end of your hike. They can see where you're at, the timing of when they need to be there. If you need to stop for some reason, stop short, and they need to know where to pick you up, they can see where you're at via that website through Garmin. With how great the Garmin Inreach Mini is, the EarthMate app is garbage. So it's very glitchy, it's very slow, it's unpredictable. The maps aren't great. And plus, this little thing here, $350 plus anywhere from $15 to $50 a month for subscription to use it. So I happily pay the $350 and the $15 a month to use this for safety purposes, but for navigation purposes, not so good. That's why it ranks at the bottom of my list. Google Maps. Yes, that Google Maps, the one that you use probably to figure out how to get to the trailhead, you can use while you're hiking out on the trail. The key here is you may not have cell phone service while you're out on the trail, and Google Maps allows you to select an area and download a map in advance. So while you're at home and you're on your Wi-Fi, download the map on your phone for where you're going to be hiking in Google Maps. That will allow you, when you go out on the trail, to put your phone in airplane mode, save the battery, turn that off, keep your boss or your wife from giving you a call. You're out in the woods, you're escaping, you don't have to deal with that stuff, right? So when you have it on airplane mode, you can still look at it as if you had that data plan if you downloaded that map in advance. Another important thing to know is, sometimes you should be able to see in advance, but sometimes the trail isn't marked on that Google map. A lot of times it is, sometimes it isn't. You should figure that out in advance. And I wouldn't rely on Google Maps as your primary navigating device, given that the maps probably don't have a whole lot of detail as far as topography, but Google Maps is very handy, and I have used it several times when I'm out in the woods and I'm lost or kind of in a pinch and don't know which way to go. Now, I may not have that map of where the trail is, but if you switch your phone over to the aerial photography and zoom in, it'll show you where the top of a hill is, where a lake is, where a road is, where a river is, and you can kind of figure out where you are at from looking at those things on your phone and looking around in the woods. So it is very handy, and it's free if you're in a pinch. So try out Google Maps, and don't forget to upload that map before you go out on the trail. Avenza Maps is a free and very popular app. It uses a geospatial PDF or other similar file type to not only allow you to look at a map on your phone, but see where you are on that map. Now, Avenza can do all sorts of different things as far as it can track your hike. You can put in place markers, you can add photos, you can do all sorts of things. Now, on Avenza or any sort of navigation app on your phone, I would highly recommend that you don't turn on the tracking feature where it tracks, how long you've been out, where you've gone, that sort of thing. Don't turn that on unless you are on a day hike, because it just drains the battery on your phone super quickly. And if you're out on a multi-day backpacking trip, you're really going to struggle to keep that battery power on your phone. Here's a free map I downloaded of the Snowbank Trail in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. If I zoom in, you can see good detail of the topography and campsites. The app has a couple of great features where you can draw a line and measure distance, as the crow flies. It also has a button where you can easily switch over to Google Maps. And once in Google Maps, you can put on those aerial photographs. And it also allows you to plot photos. What that means is if you are taking notes as you're hiking of different features along the trail, whether that be a great campsite, a great overlook, if you want to take pictures of those, you can put those on the map. So when you get home or a year from now when you want to go back out on the trail, you can look at that map that you saved and see where that campsite was and see a picture of it, or where that overlook was and see a picture of it. Now, Avenza has thousands and thousands of maps that are available. Some are free, some you have to pay for. Just like paper maps, some are good, some probably aren't that great. So there are a lot of available options through Avenza Maps. I love Gaia GPS. The reason why I love it is before I go out on the trail, I can go on my laptop and draw out the route that I plan to take, from where I start to where I'm finishing. It's a custom route of where I'm going to hike. So when I go onto my laptop, the trails are located on the map, and I can create that route by tracing the trail there from where I'm starting and where I'm finishing. It measures that distance and provides me with an elevation profile of my route. It also allows me to add custom waypoints of things that you may want to know while you're out on the trail, and then save it on the route on your laptop. And then when you save it on your laptop, it automatically will be available on your cell phone when you get out on the trail. Gaia also allows you to get other routes that people have saved publicly. When you create a route, you can save it privately or publicly. The nice thing about public is obviously other people who may be looking for the same thing can use the route that you've already created. The problem with Avenza Maps is I had Avenza and Gaia when I went out on the Centennial Trail. Oftentimes I would come to an intersection in the trail where it wasn't labeled and I didn't know which way to go. I would zoom in on Avenza Maps, and the map that I had wasn't very high resolution. So when I zoomed in, I couldn't tell which way to go, to take a left or a right here in the trail. The Gaia map did have that level of detail. You know, that route that I had created in advance was easily be able to navigate that I need to take a right and not a left. And the problem with Avenza Maps is they have a file size limit for the maps that you upload to Avenza Maps. So the trail for all of the Centennial Trail, you know, was as high a resolution as it could be. Now, there was an option on the Centennial Trail where you could buy, I think it was 10, 12 maps, and they were higher detail, but I didn't want to have to deal with figuring out which map I was looking at. So I think that Gaia beats Avenza Maps when you're out on a long trail and you need to zoom in to figure out which way to go. Gaia GPS has a free subscription and a premium subscription. I would recommend that you start out with the free subscription and see how it works out for you. And if you need additional features that are offered in the premium subscription, switch over to that in the future. Guthook is thebomb.com and #1 for a reason. It's the best navigation app that I have ever used on my phone. Guthook is free. However, you have to pay for maps when you download them, and the price for those maps varies by the trail. And Guthook is not available on all trails. However, if they have it on the trail that you're hiking on, pay for it. It's well worth it. The reason why Guthook is so great is not only will it show you where you are on the trail on the map, just like those other apps that we were talking about, and it has trailheads, it has water sources, it has all sorts of things, and it will also allow you to switch over to an elevation profile and show you where you are at on that elevation profile, which isn't always great because I always seem to look at it when I'm going up a mountain.
Climbing a mountain isn't easy.
And I'm tired, and I look at the app and it says, dude, you're only halfway up the mountain. Suck it up. Let's keep on going. Both the map and the elevation profile can be zoomed in or out to show you the level of detail you want. It will show you the exact mileage and how far it is to the next water source, campsite, or trailhead. If you tap on the symbols along the trail or on the elevation profile, information will pop up. Hikers can leave comments such as if there is a water source, if it is flowing, or if there is a campsite nearby that water source. You can see the date of the comment and how current it is. This is really important to see how relevant and how current that information is about the water source. If it was 2 months ago and it was flowing, it may not have been flowing last week. And if that guy came through 2 days before you and said that it was dry, you can plan accordingly and get up to the next water source. Those are my top 5 navigation apps. Did I forget one? Did I not list your favorite one? Am I a moron? Tell me down below in the comments. Not that I'm a moron. Tell me about your navigation app. So, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please do me a favor. Hit subscribe. Hit that bell notification. They'll tell you when I put out new videos like the Colorado Trail video that I'm going to be using Guthooks on. That should be out in a week or 2. You can also see my shenanigans and BS on Instagram and Facebook. You can support the channel through buying merch on Teespring. It's not overly expensive and it helps support the channel. Thanks for coming along, and someday I hope that I will see you out on the trail because I won't be lost because I'll be using navigation on my phone. See you soon.